From swapping manicures for press-on nails and switching to the subway instead of calling an Uber, young women are pulling back on their spending in order to recession-proof their lives.
Smart saving and intentional trade-offs, which were once regarded as restrictive or thrifty, are now being seen as strategic. Joining us to talk about it and how women are recession-proofing their lives and feeling empowered by it is finance expert and chief business officer for Raisin, Shana Hennigan. How are you?
Hello, thanks so much for having me this morning.
Great to meet you.
I think people should just drop all streaming services and watch regular television.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea.
That's a wonderful way to do it, yeah.
But how are women recession-proofing their lives?
Sure, I think they're taking an approach that is very intentional, right?
Okay.
Hewing to a budget, spending with intentionality rather than impulsivity, and cutting out some non-essentials. Like you said at the top, it's taking the subway, not Ubers, cooking at home rather than going out to dinner, or just saying, you know what, maybe I don't need that manicure this week, and then purposely moving those funds into their savings to bulletproof their finances.
Are you finding that more women are recession-proofing their lives more so than men at this point?
I'm not sure if it's a gender thing, but I think we're seeing young women who are in the workforce, they're seeing that uncertainty, seeing hiring slowing down, seeing layoffs, and saying, you know what, I'm financially savvy, I'm in charge of my own household, and I'm going to make sure that my finances are in order if we do dip into a recession.
Yeah, because sometimes people get depressed about not being able to buy things or what have you, but you're finding that that's not necessarily always the case?
I think it depends on the mindset, right? And if you look at this as a proactive choice, right? You are taking agency with your life. You are setting up your financial future. That is a really empowering thing and a great way to live and build a financial health for yourself. So I think women are really taking this approach where this is my proactive choice. I'm going to be my own financial leader, and that is going to alleviate hard decisions down the road.
Yeah.
When do you go too far with recession-proofing? When do you go too far with kind of taking away the things that you love, like the manicures and things like that, and saying, like, I'm not necessarily enjoying my life anymore. I'm going too far to the other side.
I think that becomes obvious. If you have a budget, right, and you know what is coming in and what's going out, you can absolutely plan for those little indulgences in life, right?
Yeah.
You can also plan to build that community of other like-minded women, do things together, create those social bonds that just expand through any economic environment.
Mahjong.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, mahjong is a great idea.
What do you find, though, are the biggest financial challenges that people are facing?
I think right now it's inflation, right?
Yeah.
Economic uncertainty. We've seen the stock market whipsaw go up and down. So there is that feeling of losing wealth when you see the stock market take a dip, even if that is in practice not realized on paper. So there's nothing wrong with tightening belts a little bit, being a little bit more intentional around your spending, being more focused on savings, and building that emergency fund should things go south.
I feel like there's never a time for people not to act like that, act recession-proof in their lives. I don't think there's ever a point in our history where it's like, oh yeah, things are great.
Yeah.
I'm just going to spend a ton of money. Maybe the 80s. I don't know. Maybe the I'm looking at somebody.
The yuppie years.
Yeah,
Ben,
right?
you are preaching to the choir.
I know, right?
I think this is great advice during any economic environment, whether it's young men, young women, old, young. Recession-proofing and having a strong balance sheet is just good advice for living your financial health.
Yeah, a lot of people are shifting, though, to that mindset, aren't they?
Absolutely. Why would you not?
Yeah.
We're in a period where we actually have attractive savings rate for, the first time in a long time. We lived through 0% interest rates for years. Now you can actually put your money to work for you in a safe bank deposit. Why wouldn't you save?
How do you embrace it, though? What is like, if I wanted to take that first step, though, I wanted to kind of get into this, because I'm a very frugal person personally. I know how to save money, but for someone who's used to spending, what is what's 101?
For me, it's goals, right? Once you all of a sudden have a goal assigned to your money and you're watching that grow, that feels like you are just putting off that indulgence for a little bit. So whether that's a vacation, whether that's a new car, whether it's a piece of jewelry you want, when you start saving for that, you are being intentional about it, and you are not just buying the next thing that Instagram pops up on your feed with no thought about it. So I think you can put those two thoughts together and live a very abundant life.
And you see the results immediately. You see the money in the bank.
Exactly. And then you see it grow, doing the work for you.
Well, they always say baby steps, right? to get there? What would be the first baby step then?
I think something really easy. Commit to a certain amount from your paycheck every 2 weeks, every month, whenever you get paid. Put that right into savings, direct deposit. Don't even look at it. Don't let it hit your normal checking account. Just save and build that practice, build that habit till it becomes automatic.